we are going to keep working with our program review stuff. All right, today we're going to work with our arts and humanities. To give you an idea, you all just walked by some out by Miss Brown's door. Those are called Tessellations. Okay, I'm not talking about the superhero stuff. I'm talking about her artwork that is on the right side of her door. Okay, so to give you an idea, we are going to first watch this video about an old Renaissance artist. His last name is Escher. He's going to give us an idea of what it is, and then we are going to have a discussion. And this is going to serve as our warm-up today.
The amazing thing about M.C. Escher is that he represents the perfect coming together of mathematics and art. These are two different worlds, but in his work they're brought together as one.
Born in the Netherlands in 1898, Moritz Cornelius Escher had no formal training in mathematics. He began his professional life as a graphic artist, making woodcuts and lithographs. As a young man, while visiting the Alhambra in Spain, he became fascinated by the geometric decoration of the Moorish tiles. It would be a defining moment for Escher as an artist. From then on, he would spend much of his life experimenting with an area of mathematics known as tessellation.
Tessellation is about regular patterns that divide the plane. That means they effectively split the plane up into lots of little tiles. And those tiles fit together perfectly. They don't overlap and they don't leave any gaps. It may seem that the premise of tiling a plane surface with regular repeating units is a very simple idea, but it's absolutely fundamental to mathematics. And the reason is that it's about symmetry. What Escher does with this rather simple, stark, abstract mathematics is to add a human dimension and a fantastical dimension. He has little animals, little lizards, dragon-like creatures, funny little men, goblins, and things like that. And he uses those for the shapes of his tiles. Escher's work really divides into two different periods. His early work is intuitive, no contact with mathematicians, he's interested in tessellations, and that's about it. After he made contact with mathematicians, it becomes much deeper mathematically. You get all sorts of sophisticated structures. He's interested in dimension, in the shape of space, the topology of space, in infinity. Cosmologists think that our universe might actually be Escher-shaped. So some of Escher's work may have anticipated very deep features of modern cosmology.
Using only basic drawing tools, he created a circle limit tree, an astonishingly accurate representation of space as it edges towards infinity. Nearly 40 years later, mathematicians confirmed that it was absolutely right to the last millimetre. Escher was excited by the work of mathematicians such as Roger Penrose, who created the impossible triangle. He was also fascinated by the unusual properties of the Mobius strip, an object that appears to have only one side.
What's fascinating about visual illusions to everybody is that they show us that we don't just perceive the world as it is. Our brains actually interpret what they perceive and make assumptions about what they're seeing. Escher's visual illusions give that part of our brain a real workout. What is this thing we're looking at? What am I seeing here?
Escher was inspired by this to create some of his most famous works, images that look convincing yet defy logic. The concepts of infinity, reflection, and the nature of visual perception were to intrigue Escher until his death in 1972, and his legacy lives on.
If you wander around university mathematics departments, you will find Escher pictures all over the place. You'll even find them in the textbooks, because they really do talk to mathematicians. And from today's perspective, I think mathematicians understand much more clearly what it was Escher was trying to do. To the extent we can actually write down formulas for some of the things that he does, and we can investigate what mathematical ideas lie behind them. Mathematicians know their subject's beautiful. Escher shows us that it's beautiful.
Okay, so as the professor told us there about the artist named Escher, okay, he used math to create his art. Okay? And that's what we are going to do today. You're going to create your own. And what they were talking about is called tessellation. Has anybody heard of a tessellation before? Somebody know what it is, what it might be? You know what it might mean?
It's maybe when you repeat the same thing over and over again.
Right. So we're going to have a shape. We're going to have our geometric shape. Okay. And we're going to we are going to trace it. All right, we're going to first off go through our little cars. We're going to make our shape. We are going to trace it. It's not going to have any overlaps. I'll show you the definition right up here. It's not going to have any overlaps and no gaps. So there's going to be no dead space on your paper. So a tessellation is use one or more of our shapes, like we said. We're going to call these tiles, and that's going to create our work of art. So looking at our learning target today, we are going to use transformations. Okay, our last unit, our transformations, we're going to use these to create our work of art, our tessellation. Okay, so let's look up here. This is a warm-up I did with another class. We did translations, reflections, and rotate. So let's break these down one by one. First off, translations. If I have a shape, what can I do with a translation? Okay, what do we do to complete a translation? Yes?
Slide it to the right.
Slide. Perfect. Translation, slide. Okay, next one, reflection. What's a word that we can describe a reflection?
Flip.
Flip it, right? Either over the X or the Y axis or around a certain line. Okay, we flip. And last, rotations. Turn. Perfect. Good words. Translations, we slide. Reflections, we flip. Rotations, we turn. Okay? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use these to create our tessellation. All right, so there's the definition. I want to show you all some examples because you might have overlooked Miss Brown's door out there. These are tessellations. Okay? I'm just going to pick out this blue, green, and yellow one down here. Okay, notice how it is the same shape. It's just repeated. There's no overlaps, there's no gaps, and there's no dead space on this entire page, right? Everybody see that? That's exactly what you're going to do today. Okay? And to get you all, the technique that we are going to use for this is called the four square technique. Okay? And we are going to watch this video. And good words to think about on this activity is right up there. You'll see the park to trap method. All right? So as this video is playing, I'm going to give you your materials that you'll need. And once the video is over, we will go through it step by step. Okay? So park to trap. You're going to watch this while I pass out your stuff.
Okay, another way to make a tessellation is the part to trap way. So the first thing you do is you spell out part, one letter in every corner.
This is what I'm giving you right now.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line vertically, and I can draw it wherever I want. I don't have to stay close to the edge. I can actually go more in the middle. So this is going to give you some really different shapes than what you've done with the slide method. And then I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Again, I can do a lot of different kinds of shapes. I don't have to go in the center. I don't have to go on the edge. I'm going to try something a little bit different. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I need to use scissors to cut both lines. So I'm going to cut the line vertically, and I'm going to cut the horizontal line. So when I'm done, I'm going to have 4 parts. And I need to be slow in my cutting, turning my paper. Slow. You can definitely see I'm going to get some very different shapes this way. Finally, all right. So this is how it looked before I cut it. And now I'm going to change my letters from P-A-R-T, part, to trap. So I'm going to work on the T, and the R, and the A, and the P. So when I get the letters together, this spells trap. I put my tape on, and that's my tessellation shape. Something really different than the slides.
All right. So that's step by step what we're going to do this. All right. And I'll show you here. So I just handed you out your grid paper. Okay. So you can look at it. Grab you something to write with. What you are going to do first, you're going to do the part. You're going to do the part. P in the top left. A in the top right, R in the bottom left. Use the grid side. Use the grid side. This will work. Okay, so P in the top left, A in the top right, R in the bottom left, and T in the bottom right. Does everybody have their part? So next steps we talked about. You are going to draw vertical and a horizontal line. So one line is going to go from left to right, and one line is going to go from the top to the bottom. Okay, and to make this the best art, the most creative art, would you want to draw a straight line? No. Okay, let's make it look good. Okay, so you can curve your line. You can jigsaw your line a little bit. Okay, you just want to have something so where when you cut it apart, and I'm handing out your scissors now, you have something creative. So everybody should have their lines coming around, and you can start to cut your lines. By the time you cut both of these lines, that should give you 4 different parts. Your lines, now you're just going to cut it. That'll give you 4 different parts. And when you put it back together, you put it in track. Set it apart, a track. Now I'm coming around, I got your tape, okay? So when you cut it and you have your 4 different parts, you're going to spell track with your new creative shape, and you are going to tape it together so all 4 parts will work. And everybody, it should have a unique design to it. Everyone should be a little bit. So you need something to drink, bud? Sure, that sounds like it. Yep, that's straight across. Yes, so that way all 4 parts of it. reason I'm giving you on tape, so now when you take this, your new shape here, that is what we're going to be tracing on your paper. And that will be your shape, and we'll repeat it. I'll show you how to draw, and we'll repeat it until you get a tessellation, something like you just saw already. Next. Yes. Yes, Patricia. Yeah, you can have all your shape. Okay, so I'm just going to grab Matthews here. All right, now that you have it, okay, you have it drawn out, you have it cut, and you have it taped. Okay, here's my shape. Now how to draw this, now we're going to start our tessellation. I'm going to give you one of these papers. You're going to throw it right in the middle. Okay, right in the middle. Right in the middle of the paper. You're going to start tracing it, okay? You're going to need your pencil. You trace it. Okay, so that way when you trace your original, now you build off of it. Okay, and it's going to eventually cover up the entire page. So you're going to start in the middle, you're going to build off of it, and just repeat tracing it. Okay, so that way, like in our definition, there's no empty space, there's no gaps, there's no dead space. All right, so it's going to be this paper, this shape all across your paper. Okay, it's going to cover the entire paper. Okay, do we have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, there's the sharpener up there. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, so you're going to draw it right in the middle, trace the original, and build off of it until you cover the entire page. All right, I'll throw your timer up there. We'll trace. I'll throw your timer up there. We will trace. And then while you're working, I'm going to come around and give you some crayons and colored pencils. And we will color it. Okay, the only rule with the color, you're your own artist, and I want you to be your own artist. The only rule with the colors, you pick any 4 colors that you want to use. 4 colors, and that's what you can color. Any shape, design, any way you want. Yes. As you sit in there work, okay, you are working with your table mates, but you're on your own project, so your voice really should not get above a whisper. And you have plenty of work to do, okay? We're making our own tessellation. Yes.
And now you cut the other line, yes.
Yes.
You cut it just how you drew it.
So right now you're tracing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and come around with your crayons. Yes. So you're gonna pick any, after you finish tracing, you are gonna pick any 4 of these colors and color it any way you want. Yes, you fit it to the shape. So that way, if you think about it, it's the same shape repeated a whole lot of times. And your mindset in this, how does this connect to the unit that we just finished? We will talk about that at the end. But that can be your mindset as you're working there.
Wait, Mr. Can you leave space in between or is color, should we just color it more?
We'll end up covering the whole page. So you want to trace first and then cover.
Should I leave room in between? Oh.
Trace the whole picture.